Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you the book of the week, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching The Comic Hero Show. Now kick that logo. Welcome to this edition of The Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. The summer of superheroes continues, and on this episode, I'm paying tribute to the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Now, the Miles Morales Spider-Man made his debut in Marvel's Ultimate line of books and was created by Brian Michael Bendis. And he's been a huge hit ever since. And this is a Miles Morales Spider-Man comic hero tee. And inside you have the spider webs. And then you have the Spider-Man family insignia, and to go along with it, this Miles Morales Spider-Man hat that I made myself. Now, if you would like your own Miles Morales Spider-Man comic hero tee, I will gladly make one for you for a fee. They're $17, no matter what size for adults. For children, they're $7, and I don't know if I have a price for infants for this one. It'd be kind of hard, but I think I can pull it off. Alright, this is the next to last episode of the Summer of Superheroes. I'm doing one more episode after this, episode 273, so be sure to tune into that one. And now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on episode 270, I asked, which actress became infamous for wanting to kill Tim Burton because she lost the role of Catwoman to Batman Returns to Michelle Pfeiffer? Well, the correct answer is Sean Young. Now, I gave some hints on social media. I said that she played the villain in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, which was Lois Einhorn / Ray Finkel. And then she also played Harrison Ford's love interest in Blade Runner. Well, 6 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, their names have been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So, the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Daniel LeCompte from Haughton, Louisiana. So congratulations, Daniel. You win yourself a free comic hero tee. Alright, here's the question for episode 274. And this is a Batman question. True or false? Batman co-owns the Daily Planet. Everyone who answers correctly been in a drawing for a free tee on episode 274. Alright, now it's time for the Comic Hero Book of the Week. Let's do this. Alright, my Comic Hero Book of the Week is Young Justice. Now, this series stars 4 members that were part of the Young Justice when Peter David wrote it just over 20 years ago. And I'm talking about the Connor Kent Superboy, the Tim Drake Robin, Impulse, and Wonder Girl. And Brian Michael Bendis has been doing a great job through the first 7 issues. And at first Patrick Gleason was doing the artwork, but then he left for Marvel, and now the new artist is John Timms, who is doing just an incredible job. And the way the book starts off, it starts off in Metropolis. Now, instead of attending college, the Tim Drake Robin finds out that there's something going on in Metropolis, so he heads over there, and then he runs into the daughter of Jonah Hex, Jenny Hex. And in the back of her pickup, we find out later in the book that she has a mysterious object inside of a box. Now, we don't know exactly what this object is, but it's nothing. It can't be anything good. At least I don't think it's anything good. Well, they end up running into a young girl who ended up getting a hold of Chrono's gauntlet, and calling herself Teen Lantern. And then they run into Wonder Girl, who, of course, real name is Cassandra Sandsmark. And somehow they ended up on Gem World, which is the home planet of Amethyst, who is this who later becomes a member of Young Justice. And she's a character that made her debut back in, I think, 1983, but hasn't really been relevant to the DC universe. And so far Bendis has made her very, very relevant, and I think she is going to be a great asset to the team. But while they're there, they end up finding Superboy living as a farmer with a wife and a son. But here's the thing. We find out later that Superboy wasn't really married, and that kid isn't even his child. He decided out of good graces. Shortly after he ends up on Gem World, he finds out that he finds this pregnant woman being harassed by some guys who had just killed her husband, and they were going to arrest her because she was unwed with child. Now that's kind of messed up. They kill her husband, and then they want to arrest her because she's a widow. They have some very moronic laws and policies on Gem World, but oh well. Well, and then they find Impulse being held in prison along with Amethyst. Now, there is the ruler of Amethyst is a character named Opal, who does not share with anyone under any circumstance. Well, he ends up sinking his living castle on Young Justice. Well, Superboy knocks it out, and then all the other members tear it to pieces. And then Opal is brought to justice. And they said, okay, we've done our part, now please send us back to the universe we belong. Send us back to Earth. Well, they end up not sending them back to Earth and banishing Amethyst from Gem World. And they end up having to find their correct Earth, and they somehow end up on Earth 2. Now, Earth 2 is where Power Girl originally comes from, and they're having to answer to the Justice Society, who's under leadership of Superman, a very old Superman, and then Dr. Fate ends up by accident putting them on a very evil version of Earth, and that's where the last issue ended up. So when number 8 comes out, that they're probably going to be fighting for their lives. But I'm really loving this book, loving what Brian Michael Bendis and John Timms are doing with it, especially Bendis. I mean, they're continuing the great tradition that Peter David and Todd Nauck started in 1998. I read that version of Young Justice, and let me tell you, I don't think this version of Young Justice is just as good as the one that David and Nauck did back in 8. Wait a minute, I don't think it's Nauck, it's Nauck. Yeah, Todd Nauck. I don't think he and Bendis and Timms are. It's not that good, but it's still a good read, and I just hope it gets better as the months go by. But Young Justice, my book of the week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Fantastic Four number 13. Wonder Woman number 76. Captain Marvel number 9. The Amazing Spider-Man number 27. The Flash number 76. And finally, Powers of 10, number 2. Alright, that's 6, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 9,533. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And here's a question for a free tee for episode 274. True or false? Batman co-owns the Daily Planet. Everyone who answers correctly been entered in a drawing for a free tee on episode 274. And I tell you, I say this on every episode, or every episode this summer, but I really enjoyed the Summer of Superheroes, and episode 273 is going to be yet another great episode, and I can't wait to do it. I just really have fun. Now, I'm thinking about doing the Summer of Superheroes next summer, but I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm not going to do 2 episodes a week. I mean, that's just become too much, and you know, I just want to do, and then when I'm going to do 1 more episode, and then I'm going back to doing 1 episode a week, beginning with episode 274. I know there were a few shirts that I left out. I'm going to wear those on future episodes, so stay tuned for that. That's pretty much it. I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next time for episode 273. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero!